And now for part 3, and oh my fucking... Guys, do you know why I like to keep my Crusaders? While other people seem to have problems with their episodes. Do you know why I enjoyed their antics and why they were funny? It's because, for once, I found a show that had children protagonists in there that didn't ruin the rest of the main six's adventures. The main six could have a total entire adventure dedicated to themselves, and it didn't get ruined by the CMC. The CMC could grow and learn. It could be kids. Because so often, in the history of television, these shows that are aimed for children will bring in kid characters, thinking, well, kids need a fun little character to relate to. When to quote JMS, we don't. I don't want to be the kid who helps the Lone Ranger. I want to be the freaking Lone Ranger. I don't want to be the kid that helps the Jew Rangers. I want to be a freaking Jew Ranger. I don't want to be a kid helping out the Ultras. I want to be a freaking Ultra. And for once, a show got that. They understood that the main six were their own people with their own adventures. We didn't need a kid calling themselves the seventh member of the Elements of Harmony. No, plenty of fans do that crap. So putting them in this situation where they fuck things up and mess around and act like general idiots doesn't make them appealing, and it's not good writing. It just brings me back to all those sucky, old, bad moments in cartoons where you throw in the random kid group characters and you just want to do what I'm doing right now. Fast forward and get to the next scene. Because I really don't like seeing the CMC being used like this. So I hope you don't mind, but you guys are going to have to be on your own for when you're trying to figure out what's going on with the CMC in the background. In the meantime, here's what you're going to get. The group, meanwhile, was still flying through the air, some of them screaming as they flew. When gravity caught up with them and they began to fall, they bounced off plates holding large jellies, which launched them others behind more. As they were going up, they were caught by a giant robot holding a hot dog, which threw them behind it. They all landed in something soft, cold, and wet. After a moment, everyone managed to pull themselves to the surface they landed in, all of them gasping for air. When they opened their eyes, they found out that some of the stuff they had landed on them. Of course, Rarity freaked out when he said this. Finally, an actual Rarity-like moment.
Ah, what is this stuff?
She screamed. After recovering from her scream, Sonic clicked at the white brown mist that they were buried in. Pulling his arms and hands to the surface, he said, looks like ice cream. Tails creeped some of the stuff off his face and ate it. After swallowing, he nodded.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, it's a sundae.
Rainbow tried some herself and said,
hey, it is an ice cream sundae.
Applejack grunted as he tried to wiggle her forelegs out. Let's part around, too. Spike, while going up ice cream, said, if it is, it's the best ride ever. Twice sighed, oh, great. If we have to eat all this, Spike's not going to be the only one who's going to have a tummy ache when this is over. Sonic shrugged. Well, you have to admit, it is certainly something different, Twilight.
Kane said, it was enjoyable, though. I wonder what other rides they have here.
As if to answer, Eggman spoke over a nearby loudspeaker. There's no line of bakery crazy. The ride that stimulates what it's like to be baking like a cake. The ride itself lasts in a massive 20 to 25 minutes or until golden brown. Not recommended for our guests who are sensitive to temperatures exceeding 350 degrees. Sonic deadpan, you can count me out. Applejack nod, for sure. The others agreed, except for Celestia, so you could positively hear about a ride that had something to do with cake. Luna noticed the expression on her sister's face and sighed. Celestia. Before she continued, the ice cream system started to shift. Wait, what's happening? Luna asked.
Why is this ice cream moving?
Rainbow Dash added. The others looked around, wondering the same thing. Suddenly, something large and purple burst out of the ice cream. Sharp purple teeth startling everybody.
What the hell is that?
Applejack exclaimed.
Someone or something's using the purple fence. Look out, guys!
Tails cried. Everyone began to move through the ice cream at that, trying to stay out of the path that the shark was tearing through around the sundae. After avoiding getting an arm grabbed by purple jaws, Sonic noticed something weird at the back of whatever was using the purple wisp. Why is it all poofy in the back? For me, it was all spiky, he said. Then he looked down and he noticed that he could see his legs. Is it just eating the ice cream? He asked. He looked over when he heard Rarity scream and saw the purple berserker leap off the white unicorn, leaving her on her back in a puddle of melted ice cream.
It licked me! She shrieked.
Rarity flew over and snickered.
Yeah, it licked all that ice cream off your face while I was at it. That's one heck of a facial.
Rarity glared up at her at that.
Tails said, Sonic's right. He just wants the ice cream.
Everybody relaxed at that, but they were still wary whenever that thing came near them. In no more than 2 minutes, the entire sundae bowl was empty, and the berserker jumped out of the bowl onto the ground. After a few seconds, while everyone was looking where it jumped out, a purple wisp floated up near the rim of the bowl. Rosalind got nervous when she saw the sinister-looking smile on his face, the shape of his head reminding her of Iron Will's horns.
Well, what's that wisp? She started out. Tails said, It's a purple wisp, but a nigga wisp.
Twilight looked down and asked,
Nigga wisp? Tails nodded and asked, Remember what we said about Eggman being interested in the wisp's hyper-golem power?
Everyone nodded, so he said,
Well, if this is the hyper-golem energy from the wisp, they turn to nigga wisps once they're violent into Eggman's being. They could be either purple or violet.
Sonic began climbing to the rim of the bowl. Luna asked,
Then who's using that wisp's power to eat ice cream, no less?
When Sonic reached the rim of the bowl, he looked down at the bowl for a minute before calling back. I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. Confused, Rainbow Dash flew up beside him and looked down.
Pinkie Pie!
She gasped. The pink pony was lying on the back of her stomach on the ground, patting her belly contently with a dreamy expression. Her stomach was as slim as it usually was, if it weren't for the wisp that floated up. Nobody would ever guess he ate a huge ice cream sundae. As the others started climbing up, Sonic and Rainbow leapt out of the bowl. Fluttershy, Tails, Celestia, Silver, and Luna came out after them. Kay decided to climb out the bowl with her husband and sister-in-law. Sonic and Rainbow landed next to Pinkie, Celestia, Tails, Luna, Silver, and Fluttershy landing behind them. If Pinkie knew they were there, she made no indication of it. After a moment, Rainbow Dash said,
Hey, Pinkie Pie!
Pinkie glanced up at her and replied,
Hey, Dashing!
Rainbow raised a fist and an eyebrow at the far-off way she said that. Sonic asked, So, how are you enjoying Sweet Mountain so far? As soon as he asked that, the dreamy look in Pinkie's eyes disappeared as he looked at her hooves. Then started railing,
I love it's like bad things, chaos. You have all my favorites here. I have house cakes, donuts, gingerbread ponies. Well, they're not ponies, since Mr. and Mrs. Cake always makes them sure they're all on fires. And these gingerbread legs are on 2 legs, not 4. But this is just as good. Actually, this is everything else as good as I remember it to be. It's like the cakes were hired to make everything here. I wonder if the cakes ever make anything this big because if they did, I'll never see it. They never let me sell this kind of thing, but you know they...
By this time, everybody had reached the edge of the sundae bowl, with a few slits here and there. And Rainbow Dash couldn't take it anymore. She finally cut her pink friend off with a loud, Pinkie! When the party pony looked at her, she said, We get it!
Pinkie smiled, Okay! There's still a few places I want to check out before...
She trailed off for a moment before it got a distant look in her eyes. Before! Vector, who was hanging on the rim of the bolt with the others, asked.
Pinkie looked back and a huge grin formed on her face. Before I go to the chocolate milk sea, silly. Can you believe it? There's a whole bunch of chocolate rivers here, and it all ends up in the chocolate milk sea. Oh, I want to go right now, but I have to see the rest of the park first.
Twilight spoke. Look, Pinkie, we've been worried about you. If you want to go to the scene, that's fine. Just don't... Pinkie interrupted.
Good, I go. See ya!
And with that, she turned and dashed off, leaving a smoke burst herself behind. Hey! Sonic called. Blaze pulled herself up and got over the bowl, let down saying, Not again. As soon as he landed, she ran into the direction Pinkie Pie had gone. Sonic and Rainbow dashed following her while the others jumped down from the bowl. Silver catching Rarity, Celestia getting under Twilight, Tails grabbing Spike, and Luna breaking Applejack's fall, while Vector, SPL, Shiny, and Cadence all let down and landed on their own. Despite a little bit of awkwardness with Rarity hugging Silver for catching her, I'm going to ignore this stupidity. They all ran after their friends while they looked back on the ground, except for one. They didn't have to go far before they caught with Sonic, Rainbow, and Blaze, all of them looking around.
Did she disappear again?
Rarity asked after a moment. The 3 turned to the others, Blaze saying, Unfortunately. Sonic crossed his arms. Man, what is up with that pony? Twilight and her friends shrugged down.
Tails looked around and asked, Hey, where did Princess Celestia go?
Everybody looked around at that, but they found no trace of the Sun Princess. Where did she disappear to? Silver wondered. Luna groaned, knowing my sister, she's looking for this Make Me Crazy ride.
When it comes to cake, her sweet tooth always acts up. Keynes asked, so we had to find Aunt Celestia too?
Fencer turned to Tails and said, Tails, your Sonic went through every plant in this park. Do you have any idea where Big Me Crazy and Tongue of Milkseed are?
Tails replied, no. When we were taking out plants, we headed straight for the tractor beam generators. They were holding the plants where they were. We didn't really go on the rides or see any maps for each plant.
Luna sighed. A mop would certainly be useful right now.
After a moment, Tails stumped his right fist against his palm of his left hand. Wait, I got it! Ignis is responsible for this whole park.
Rebo rolled her eyes.
Well, we already knew that, Tails. Tails replied, yeah, but even as smart as he is, he needs to lay out plans to be able to have quick access to him, no matter where he is.
Sonic said, I see where you're going with this. Those maps of the tropical resort only list the general areas of interest. But if we can find one of Eggman's computers and hacked into it, maybe we'll find some more detailed maps of the plant.
Tails said, exactly.
Applejack asked, so where can we find one of these computers?
Tails had a hand to his chin. There's one hidden in Asteroid Coaster, but that wasn't much information on it.
He looked up a moment later.
I know. Looks like Eggman was building a new base on Planet List. He wouldn't be able to build a fully functional base without at least one computer to handle a bunch of tasks. Even the egg pods can't keep up with everything. It was meant to be a base. He'd probably keep a lot of information there.
Sonic said, well, that's going to be a problem then. We can use the warp ring to zip over there and check it out. Luna asked, but what about Celestia? Blaze nodded. Luna's right, Sonic. Even if she doesn't know where the Bake Me Crazy is, she can still find it again while we're gone. Applejack protested, we'll have an easier time finding it if we can find a map. Twilight said, sounds like we're going to have to split up again. Silver spoke, good idea, Twilight. Sonic nodded, yeah. He stopped for a moment before looking at Blaze, saying, I don't think Luna should go searching alone. Why don't you go with her, Blaze? The cat asked, why only me? Sonic replied, no, if you want someone to come with, that's fine. I'm just not going to put anybody on the spot. Blaze nodded, I understand. She went to Silver and asked, Silver, would you accompany me and Luna? The Silverhead Sonic quickly replied, oh, of course, Blaze. Blaze nodded and looked over at the married couple and asked, Seniyama, Princess Cadence? Shiny quickly answered before his wife could, not unless you're taking Twilight with you. Twilight looked up at him in surprise. He saw a glare in Sonic's direction. The blue hedgehog noticed, but he looked back at Blaze and shrugged. Blaze sighed and was about to ask someone else, but Blaze Silver laid a hand on her shoulder. When she looked at him and said, Blaze, I know what you're thinking, but it's sure the two of us can help Luna, both with the robots and finding Princess Celestia. We've done plenty of pretty dangerous stuff in the past, right? Blaze looked at him for a moment before saying, I suppose you're right, Silver. So he looked back at Sonic and said, I leave the rest to you, Sonic. Just be careful. All of you. He had the others nodding in understanding, though Shiny was still looking at Sonic. Tails reached into his... Tails! There! You can say Tails! You can say Tails! You can say he reached into his tails! You can say it! You can say reached into his furry appendices! Just stop saying namesakes! It pulled out the warp ring. He then turned around and moved forward, the ring expanding to its full size behind the group. As he turned around, Tails walked over and placed his hand on his side, causing the image of a green landscape to appear in the ring's simmering middle. The fox spoke, It's all set. Next up, Plate Lisp. The remainder of the group walked over to the ring and went through it, Sonic going through the last. Before following the others, Tails sent a quick salute to Blaze, Luna, and Silver, and went through it as after it was returned, the ring vanishing afterwards. Luna looked at her two accomplices and asked, Meh, shall we? Blaze and Silver nodded and they set out, looking for Celestia and to Bake Me Crazy. Tails came to the other side of the warp ring, landing on beautiful, unspoiled green grass before holding up his left hand, catching the warp ring with it. As he tucked it away, Keynes asked, This is Planet Wisp? Sonic was standing nearby and answered, Sure is. Beautiful, isn't it? Twilight nodded, Yeah, it's so untouched. Applejack smiled, For sure, this little guy sure have a nice planet to call home. First, I looked out to the side and smiled as he noticed a couple of white wisps floating over to the group. When they were around the group, they started chattering their English language.
Aw, they're so cute.
First, sighed. Ready looked at Sonic and Tails and asked, What are they saying?
Tails replied, I don't know. I don't have my translator with me.
First, I hugged several wisps with 4 legs while saying,
They're so adorable, and they're so friendly, too.
Tails looked around and asked,
What are yakkers with them?
Sonic pointed to a building in the distance and said, Looks like the tractor beam is working right now. I bet our buddy Yakker's on one of the other planets at the moment.
Tails looked where he was pointing and asked, "Is that in his base?"
Sonic replied, well, that was part of what he was building when we were here. Never really went inside, so I don't know exactly.
Rainbow grunted, "Well, whatever it is, he definitely knows how to make it stand out. You definitely wouldn't want to mistake that for a tree."
SBO said, let's get moving. We don't want to keep Silver, Luna, and Blaze waiting. Vector nodded, yeah, we better get in there and find a computer room.
Twilight nodded, turned to Fluttershy and said, "Okay, Fluttershy, we're leaving. You could probably sit the Wisp down now." Fluttershy sighed. "Oh." She released the White Wisp, saying, "Bye, my little friends."
The Wisp waved to the group as they set out to the structure in the distance. As they walked, Fluttershy looked around at the little interesting trees and plants. The sight reminded her of the day she went down to the ground for the first time to get her cueing mark. It made her feel happy, so she kept an eye out for any more wisps. Fetcher seemed to sense this and placed a hand on her shoulder. When she looked at him, he said, don't worry, Fluttershy. The wisps live here. I'm sure we'll see you rescue plenty of them while we're looking for a computer room. Fluttershy smiled up at him, but they were both distracted by Spike giggling from beside Vector. The crocodile looked down at him and asked, what? Spike looked up at his face and looked away, muttering, He thought of a good excuse and said, I was just thinking how interesting it would be if you and Gummy were to hang out with each other, Vector. You know, like showing Gummy some of your cool tricks and all that. I bet you two would be real pair of gators. Vector's eyes widened. Glared down at Spike. I'm a crocodile, not an alligator! Don't you know your animals? Spike looked nervous at that, looked to Fluttershy for help. The side Pegasus looked and spoke after a moment.
I'm sorry, Spike, but Vector's right. He's not an alligator. He's a crocodile.
Spike shrugged. Same thing, though, right? Vector yelled out, no! Now look here, bud! There's a very fine difference between crocodiles and alligators! Spike rolled his eyes. Oh, boy. Soon. And that's how you tell a crocodile apart from an alligator! You get it now? Vector asked Spike. The baby dragon quickly nodding as to make the crocodile angry again. Vector said, good! Anything else you want to know? Spike calmed down and replied, yes, actually. I almost forgot. I saw you breathe fire earlier. Are you part dragon or something? Vector answered, no, that's... Before he could launch into another explanation, SBO interrupted. Sorry to interrupt, Vector, but we're here. Spike, Fluttershy, and Vector looked up, and he saw they were from the front door of the building they had seen earlier. Whoa, it's even bigger up close, Spike noted. Rainbow tried, I'll bet that's us on the outside. Caroline Castle's probably bigger, at least on the inside. She lowered her body, saying, come on, let's trash this joint! Tails spoke,
hold on, Rainbow Dash.
When the Rainbow Mayor glanced up at him, he pointed at the door and said,
this door's probably locked and reinforced. It'll probably take a Sonic rainproof to go through it without opening it.
Rainbow stood up. You think so? Tails died. She went to the door and gulped. Well, that's what needs to be done. She spread her wings and said, guess I'll get up there and start building a seed. First, she could start flapping her wings, Sonic spoke. Or we could save ourselves a possible medical bill for blunt drama, and I could just open the door. Twilight turned to him and asked,
are you going to do that, Sonic?
She turned to him. She saw him with his hands on his hips, standing in front of a new wisp. Tails smiled when he saw it.
That's a yellow wisp. Think you can help us, Sonic?
The blue head looked down. Sure. He looked at a nearby rocky ground and said, this looks like a good area to put his special ability to use. And knowing Eggman, probably wouldn't put the switch right next to the front door. He looked back to the others. I think I'll do a little digging of my own and see if I can release the door. Rainbow grinned lightly. Hey, if it means I don't have to end up in the hospital when we're all done, I'm all for it. The others nodded in agreement, though Sonic armor did slowly. Sonic nodded. Okay. He looked at the yellow wisp and said, come on, let's go play. The wisp nodded happily and followed Sonic over to the rocky ground. Sonic then turned to look at the wisp, who after a moment went inside of him. He began to glow yellow, and after a second, it suddenly burrowed to the ground. Whoa, what was that? Applejack exclaimed.
Tails giggled. Yellow wisp gives you the ability to burrow through the ground, but I find it soft enough. Basically, that means no digging through solid metal.
Rainbow smiled. Guess the rocks are a lot softer than metal, huh?
Tails nodded and then said, let's just wait until he gets back. Depending on what he finds, we might not have to find another way after all.
Spike, Vector, and SB on the ponies nodded, looking around as he waited. After a minute, they heard a noise and turned to look to the door. It began sliding up, exposing the inside of the building. Not long afterwards, they looked back over at the rocky ground and saw Sonic come out of the ground, still wrapped in the yellow wisp power. Once he got out of the ground, the wisp popped out and returned to normal.
Tails called, good job, you two. You got the door open.
Sonic called back, "Sweet!" He looked back at the yellow Wisp and said, "Hey, thanks, little guy. You really helped us out." The Wisp let out a happy noise as Sonic shook one of his tentacles. He then floated away while Sonic rejoined the others, and they walked inside the building. As they walked through the structure, the group could see that it was far from finished. There were drills boring into rocks and other machines clearing things away, working on the building itself. Overall, it reminded Sonic and Tails of the first time they visited the planet and saw Eggman ruining the environment. They pushed those thoughts aside for now. They came to Planet Wisp to find a map, not put a stop to Eggman's park plans a second time. While searching, he came across a castle containing a pink wisp near a wall. The chaos, Spike, and the ponies quickly noticed the wisp's angry expression and the spikes on top of his head. Looked down with a pleading look in his eye.
Oh, the poor little dear. We can't just leave him here,
Rarity said. Applejack walked over to the castle saying, "We sure can't, Rarity. Hang on, I'll let the little fellow out." She was standing next to the castle. She reared back on her hind legs, intending to knock the glass off the covering with her hose. Before she could do so, however, a robotic's voice spoke up from behind the group. "Halt! You're trespassing in a hard-at area. Cease your efforts and leave the construction area at once." Everyone turned back to see more egg pawns behind them, most of them wearing hard hats and carrying picks. "Ah, there's the welcoming committee," Sonic shrugged. He looked at Applejack and said, "Let him out, Applejack. You should be able to help out with these guys." Applejack replied, "You got your hog!" She turned back to the castle and kicked the glass on top of the castle with her hose, freeing the pink wisp. He immediately rushed into her and she started glowing pink. A second later, pink spikes burst out of her back, along with 3 pink spikes on each of her hooves. "What the?" she exclaimed as he lifted the spike on her front hose. Sonic nudged her with his arm. "You should be able to put those spikes to good use, Applejack. They're good for climbing up walls and tearing robots apart." The reserve pony looked back at him as he spoke. After he finished, he smirked and crossed the spikes on her front hose in front of her face. "Is that so?" The leading Eggpunk spoke. "The yours one has Eggman Empire property. Stop it!" At that, Applejack got up to a nearby wall, using his spikes to run across somewhat arcally, before leaping into the egg ponds. As he approached the lead egg pond, Applejack thrust the spikes on her front hose into where its neck would be, securing herself before pulling her hind legs up and quickly running the spikes on her back hose down its chest, ripping it wide open. As he then leapt off it, everybody looked at least a little surprised that they could see its insides quite clearly. Fell to back a moment later, exploding. After a moment, Applejack grinned. "Yeehaw!" She then looked at the other egg ponds. "Hey, y'all, both brains want some of this?" The egg pond stood still for a moment before charging towards her. Keans called, "Wait, Applejack, don't!" She was unable to finish before Applejack dashed towards the egg ponds, her temporary claws ready. As he began tapping into them, Twy smiled. "I think Applejack's got it covered, Keans." Rainbow cheered, "Go, Applejack!" Sonic "Kick some egg pond chassis!" As Applejack continued doing that, the others began throwing out cheers for her. Save for Flyers. "No!" After a moment, all but Egg One Pond had been reduced to scrap metal, while Egg Pond laying on its front, stuck under a bunch of barrels. She allowed herself a moment to relax. Applejack's pink spikes disappeared, and pink wisps floated out of her chest. Driving back down on all fours, the Earth Pony sighed. "I'll use it all up." "Well, it's kind of fun while it lasted." She looked at the pink wisp and tipped her hat to it. "Thank you, kind of partner." The wisp gave her a kind wave as it floated away. Yours came over afterwards, Rainbow saying, "That was cool, Applejack. You totally nailed those pawns." Sonic nodded. "Yeah, way to go." He bumped his fist against Applejack's hoof. Spectre spoke. "Alright, enough fun and games. We gotta find the computer room." SPL looked around and said, "I'm starting to wonder if there's even one here. We've seen a lot of construction, but very few rooms so far. We've been able to walking around for a while."
Tails spoke. "There's gotta be something. Something we overlooked."
Sonic eyed the last egg pond, which was still trapped under the barrels. "Hang on, I got an idea," he said while walking over to it. As he was in front of it, he looked down at it saying, "Hey, Tin Toy, tell us where we can find a map of this joint and I'll help you out." Egg Pond hesitated a moment before pointing at a nearby entryway. Everyone looking where it was pointing and said, "There's one in the wall in there." Sonic looked back at the egg pond saying, "Good answer." He called up to a spin dash and shot towards the barrels, sending him flying when he hit him and freeing the egg pond. As the young curl landed, the egg pond clanged to his feet and ran away, going back to where the group had come from. Sonic turned to his direction and called, "Hey, you might want to!" Before he could say any more, the egg pond tripped and fell into a hole. "What's that up there?" Sonic finished. Tails meanwhile went into the nearby room, quickly found the building that the Eggplant had mentioned. While he was looking it over, the others entered the room and walked over to him. After a minute, he said,
I got it!
He looked at the others, explaining,
There's a completed control room a couple of floors up. We should be able to find something there.
Espiel asked, Do you know how to get there?
Tails said, it's this way.
The others, he ran deeper into the room, everyone following close behind him.
Are we almost there, Tails? Not that there's a problem we aren't, but we got a few floors already.
Fireside, in a voice just loud enough to be heard, said. Tails came to a stop, as did everyone else, and looked up at the ceiling. He put a hand to his chin.
We're just about there, Fluttershy. We should be right under the control room.
Fector asked, Right under the computer room? SPL looked down. Fector, if you say that one more time. Fector shrugged, What? Just ask you a question. Rainbow glanced up at the ceiling.
There are too many ramps in this place, and none of them are clearly marked. There's gotta be a faster way to get up there.
So he went to Twilight and asked,
Twilight, can you blow a hole in the ceiling so we can fly up there?
Before the laboratory unicorn could respond, Spike said, Hey there, little guy. Everyone turned to look at him and saw an orange wisp flying in front of them. The wisp said something in its alien language, but the way it spoke made Spike think something was wrong.
What did I say? Did I make him angry?
He asked while looking at the iris.
Tails said, No, he's not mad, Spike. Orange wisps typically have short fuses, but we've never seen what they look like when they get mad. I think you're okay.
Spike sighed, Good. He looked back at the orange wisp and smiled. You're pretty good. You're cool, you know that? The wisp looked happily at that. Suddenly rusted to Spike. As an orange glow surrounded him, the baby dragon. Let's not give Spike something to do! Sonic said, Just relax and help the wisp out, Spike. He's going to take you for a ride, and I just hope your scales are enough to protect you. Not knowing what else to do, Spike did as he told, letting the wisp's hypergolarity float through him. After a moment, the orange rocket formed around him, leaving him big hole about the group.
Spiky Walkie?
Verity cried.
Are you okay?
Twilight asked. Spike called back a moment later, sounding a bit dazed. Yeah, I'm fine, but I don't think the reader is liking that I'm actually doing something. He looked around and noticed a large screen door on the other side of the room across the room. Hey, looks like Tails was right. I think this is the control room. He sat down before standing up.
Tails called back. Okay, just stay in there. We'll be right up.
Over the course of the next minute or two, Tails and Rainbow carried Rarity, Sonic, Applejack, and Espio up to the hole. Twilight used her magic to lift shining armor and fed her up. As they carried her sister-in-law up while Fireside flew down after them. Once they were all up in the room, they saw Spike had crossed over to the other room and had climbed up to the control panel. He was typing computer keys as Espio ran into him. Are you in? The chameleon asked when Spike was standing next to the control panel. Spike replied as he looked up at the screen. I don't know. It keeps saying something about a password. I don't know how this thing works. You're an idiot, Spike! Espio grunted as the others came over. Of course Eggman would try to lock out the system to everyone else. It's just like him. Once the others were standing behind him, Tails said,
You need the password, Eggman?
Spike said, Hasn't he used that one before? Espio said, Well, I'll try it. He began typing the letters while on the keyboard, while Spike moved to the side and watched him. Espio hit enter and while he was done, but the screen flashed and an angry red access denied. Because he's not using that one anymore. Espio growled.
Tails left the light beside him. Well, it shouldn't be too hard to crack a system. Let's work on it.
Twilight asked, Is there anything we can do to help? Espio replied, Aside from keeping quiet and staying back while we work, like a certain crocodile, not much, I'm afraid. Fedra just smarted that.
Tails said, We can always take suggestions, but beyond that, I don't know how much help you'll be able to offer.
Spike spoke, Well, I know you guys would be able to get in. He put his right thumb in the direction of the doorway. When he would have come in had he gotten in the long way. While you're doing that, I'll go stand guard out there and make sure no one tries to cross our party. Tails and Espio nodded. Rainbow asked,
Hey, can I come with?
Sonic Armor spoke up. Actually, Rainbow Dash, if you don't mind, I'll go help Sonic stand guard. Guarding is my job after all. Rainbow replied,
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna go look around then. After all that searching and running, I don't want to stand still right now. I'll be back soon.
Before anyone could say anything, he flew over the hole in the door, disappeared through it. The rest of the group looked at each other, before Sonic shrugged and ran towards the doorway, going through it to look in the direction of the hallway. Shining stared to look with Twilight, before running towards the doorway, leaving the rest of the group to try and break into Eggman's system. Shining Armor stepped out of the doorway, and found Sonic standing to his left, a bit down the hallway that looked very similar to the others from the hallway. He trotted over to the hedgehog and stood to his right side, glancing out with a stony look on his face. Sonic looked down with a relaxed look and asked, "So, you're captain of the Royal Guard, huh?" Sonic shortly replied, "Yes, I am. How do you know?" Sonic returned his gaze to the hall as he answered, "Twilight told us about you and Cadence." Sonic said, "It's Princess Cadence. If you're going to be talking about royalty, you should have formally referred to them by title." Sonic shrugged. "In my experience, princesses don't like being referred to as such. I can see why Twilight refers to Celestia by her title, but it doesn't sound like she referred to Cadence as princess all the time." Sonic replied, "Twilight was, and still is, very close to Cadence. I don't see what you've done that excludes you from addressing royalty as such." Sonic asked, "So, should I be referring to you as Prince Shining Armor then?" Shining glared at him at that. Sonic waved a hand. "Relax, man. Seriously, Place hates it when her guards or anyone else refers to her as a princess. I'm sure Celestia has days where she wishes Twilight and the other ponies would call her by name without using her title." Sonic spoke, "As long as you bring her up, what do you think of Twilight? You two seem awfully close for two, a unicorn and hedgehog who just met." "Shining? Where are you and Cadence suggesting?" Sonic turned his head to look at Shining Armor. Now noticing his stallion had turned his head and was looking down at him with an unreadable expression. It confused him, but he answered anyway. "She's a cool girl. She kind of reminds me of Tails when I first met him. Yes, she's still got a couple of things unique to her besides magic." He looked away and placed a hand on his chin. "Gotta admit, she kind of surprised me when she said something to Shadow earlier." Shiny gritted his teeth, once again remembering the black hedgehog said to him. While trying to keep his voice steady, he spoke, "About that. Are you related to him?" "Only in so much that I write it myself. And I treat them like brothers." Sonic replied, "Only in appearance. As far as I know, there are no aliens in my family tree." Shiny looked confused by that last part, but he pressed on. "So you have no siblings then?" Sonic replied, "I like to think of Tails as my little bro. He was just a little guy when we first met, and I taught him and looked out for him." Sonic said, "Then maybe you'll understand what I'm about to say to you." Sonic started to turn his head. "Understand? Understand what?" As he finished, he turned his head to look at the stallion. He saw the Shining Armor and turned his head so he was facing the hedgehog. It was causing a raise an eyebrow in confusion. "You ain't the only one, Sonic!" Shining lowered his head, pressed his face up against Sonic, saying, "You stay away from my sister." Sonic's eyebrow raised higher. "What?" Sonic said, "I have a problem with you." Sonic replied, "So does Shadow, but he doesn't tell me all the time." Shining leaned his head back a bit, though still close to Sonic as he asked, "You're not getting it, are you?" Sonic pointed his face with his right hand. "Do I look like I'm getting it? I mean, really? You get up in my face without warning, and expect me to know what you're talking about?" Sonic said, "We are currently on what you and your friends are saying is an alien planet, which is part of this Eggman's theme park. Some point who happens to be on some form of conquest from the sound of things, and you're making light of the situation." Sonic replied, "Well, first of all, Tails and I already traversed Egghead's theme park. That was our most recent adventure, in fact. We're probably just back at the point in time before the park was destroyed and all the planets were returned to where they belong. Second, what does that got to do with anything?" Sonic answered, "You're not what I would call serious. Some point is trying to take over your world. What do? Treat it like it's something to worry about? No, you crack jokes and act like it's nothing new. That doesn't seem very responsible. And Twilight certainly would be hanging around some point like that." "Hey, Trixie, would you mind if I, pick on some idiots for a sec?" "Oh, no. If you're about to say what I think you're gonna say, have at it!" "Wow. Sounds like a bunch of bastards complaining about the MCU. Hello!" "Well, it sounds like a bunch of those emo twits that only like what Snyder does with the DCEU. Ooh. You gotta love these super depressed people who think that you have to be serious 24/7. They're so boring and kind of sad when you think about it." Sonic shrugged. "Well, it is nothing new. Besides, isn't it who Twilight decides to hang around with her choice? She wasn't a little filly the last time I checked. She seems like someone who's capable of making sound decisions without anyone to hold her hoof. She might need someone who could count on to talk about her problems, but who doesn't every now and then? Sonic asks, problems? What problems? What did you do to her? Sonic waved his hands in front of him. No, what's the deal, man? Where's all this coming from? I get you love your sister and all, but still! Sonic said, I'll tell you. You're too laid back. You can run at speeds that typically only Pegasus can reach. You're from a completely different universe, and you've been exposed to this hyper-go-on energy a lot. Something we equestrians know nothing about. You really think I can trust you around my sister? How do I know you won't do something with her? Sonic reported, then who would you recommend? Who would you want around your sister who you can guarantee nothing will happen to her? Shining, I understand being overly protective, but this is right now starting to get a little creepy. Shining took a step back at that. His unjustified anger being lifted for a moment. Sonic spoke. See? You can't recommend anyone Shining Armor. I don't know what you've been through, but you're relying on past assumptions. Those won't help you here. I'll admit, I didn't expect Twilight to warm up to me so quickly. All things considered, it looks like she's found so that she can trust me. I'm not going to claim I know you better than you or Celestia or her friends do, but it seems like I do know her well enough that she's willing to put her faith in me. Shining asked, but fighting robots? Saving aliens? All this... Shining! You're a dumbass. May I remind you, Twilight has been through a lot worse and a lot more while she was in Ponyville. She lives in a very dangerous area. She is a grown mare who can do things on her own. You know this. This is coming out of left field. I get the author's trying to put in some character development we didn't see on the show. Fine, I get that. But this isn't character development. This is character assassination. It's making Shining Armor look dumber than he normally is. It's putting Shining Armor out there as a complete idiot, and it really makes no sense. He knows that Twilight can handle herself. If he's so worried about her, why did he go with her to Ponyville? Stallion's angry tone of voice was long gone as he spoke, as his arguments were starting to fall apart as the silent rage dissipated. Sonic said, looked like Celestia and Luna were filling you and Kane's in on recent events earlier at Sugar Q Corner. Did they tell you everything? A moment passed before Sonic continued, well, let me fill you in the gaps regarding your sister. Ever since she returned to normal, she's seen a lot of stuff. She's braved an industrial wasteland while avoiding killer robots placed in the craziest of spots, went through a winter wonderland, actually fought Nightmare Moon alongside me and Applejack, put her smarts to good use with some ancient mysteries, ran from the law, went through a jungle, fought Chrysalis and her changelings along with everyone else, made a volcanic adventure, got a taste for the Far East, and was forced to fight someone who was under the influence of mind control. All this happened before you showed up back at the Crystal Empire. Sonic just stared back at Sonic in shock as he heard all this. All of it sounding hard to believe, and yet finding it too far-fetched. But you notice that, aside from the usual wear and tear you get from an adventure like this, she's pulled through nicely and has been helping out any way she can. So for you, her own brother, to stand here and tell me that you don't think she can take care of herself, and you can't trust the one she's with to help her when she's over her head, well, that doesn't look good for you, dude. Shining stammered, His mind couldn't find any words. Not that his mouth would be able to say them if he could. Sonic just looked down, wondering what was going through the stallion's head at the moment. They both brought out their heads when they heard Rainbow Dash call, "Heads up, guys!" They both turned to look down the hall and saw the Cyan Pegasus flying towards them, moving towards the ceiling as he flew. Looking down, he saw egg pawns running their way, evidently trying to catch their rainbow main friend. Sonic steadied himself, knowing their priorities would probably shift away when they saw him.
Hey, listen, Bringer, question.
Yeah, Trix?
You were skipping all of the out-of-character and badly done scenes with the rest of the main six. Why were you letting Shining Armor get tortured?
Well, Trixie, it's a very simple question. Have you seen this show? Have you seen the things we've been through on this series so far? And how many times we've been through the main six getting flanderized, weakened, insulted, mocked, dragged through the mud, and all that crap when it came to crossovers?
Yes.
And you know how many times we've had to deal with all this stupidity on this?
Yes.
How many times have we done it to Shining Armor?
Very early. Let's see. Trixie can't remember. When was the last time we've done it to Shining Armor on one of these crossover fics?
Well, definitely not in One Piece, I can tell you that. Or let them wonder.
Now that Trixie thinks about it.
Even Post-Nuptials had Shining Armor in a more sympathetic light. So, it was now time to make him pay!
Oh!
Suddenly Rainbow called, "Check this out!" Sonic and Shiny looked up at her again and saw a blue cloak surrounding her. A second later, a cube formed around her body as he fell straight towards the ground. Looking down, Sonic noticed the egg pawns were closer now. Just as they were about to reach him, Shiny in Shining Armor, who was still looking at the blue cube, Rainbow hit the ground and released a cloud of dust upon landing. As soon as he landed, the egg pawns were lifted off their feet and exploded while in midair. Rainbow turned back to the normal shortly afterwards, and as the blue wisp came out of her chest, she faced Sonic and Shining and asked, "Pretty cool, huh?" Sonic smiled. "I see you found out what the blue wisp could do while you were out."
Rainbow grinned. Well, initially I didn't know what to think of the little guy, but he seemed like he knew a lot. And turning into a cube turned out to be cooler than I thought.
She turned to look at the blue wisp, and nothing went away. The wisp nodding back before floating away. Rainbow then looked at Sonic and Shining and asked,
"So, did Tails and SPL manage to hack into Eggman's system?"
Sonic said, "We don't know. Shining and I have been having an engaging conversation, you could say." Shining's hard to look at Sonic, the use of the nickname that Twilight kids call him, disappeared when Hedgehog hinted at the words had been exchanged between the two. While his thoughts turned to their talk, Sonic went on, "We better see how they're doing. Come on!" Sonic turned and headed for the doorway to the control room. Rainbow hot at his heels. Sonic remembering where he was for a moment before turning and following him. When he got back to the computer room, Shining found his sisters and the others huddled around the computer console, apparently looking at Fall of Starfleet. That was nice of them. The screen displaying something different than before. Once he got for the hole in the floor, he followed Rainbow and Sonic to the group. When they were standing behind the others, Sonic asked, "How's it going, guys?" Most of the others looked back at him, as he was saying, "Well, we managed to get inside Eggman's system. It took a little bit of searching, but Tails found what we were looking for."
Rainbow looked at the fox and asked, "You found a map of Sweet Mountain, Tails?"
While looking between his radar and the computer console his restaurant, Tails replied,
Sort of. Eggman decided to put the maps of all the planets in one big file. I can't extract the one we need, so right now I'm downloading everything."
Rainbow raised an eyebrow.
"Downloading?"
Sonic looked at her and said, "Basically, he's transferring the maps to his radar, so he'll be able to refer to them when he needed. That saves us from having to memorize them now, and hope we don't forget them later." Rainbow nodded in understanding. Sonic looked back at Tails and asked, "Are you sure we can't get the one map we need, Tails?"
The fox nodded. "Positive. Eggman probably did it on purpose in case anyone got in. But I'm at 50% on the download. Now it's 49%. Now it's stopped. Oh, now I have to reboot. It shouldn't take much longer."
Sonic glanced back at the hole in the floor, faintly hearing sounds coming through it. "I hope so. It sounds like we might have stirred a hornet's nest," he said.
Rainbow looked in the air and said, "Was it hard cracking Eggman's password?"
Applejack replied, "Nah, I turned out the password's password. I ain't that just lousy thinking or what?" Spike shrugged. "Must have been going for so obvious it's overlooked."
Rainbow rolled his eyes. "Yeah, I can imagine."
Sonic asked, "What about the Bake Me Crazy?" Fetcher said, "Tails found it on one of the security cameras after he started to download. Got the coordinates and everything. We can work straight there when he's done." A minute later, Shiny glanced back at the doorway, definitely hearing sounds coming from the other side of it. "How's that download coming, Tails? We need to get going," he urged.
Tails answered, 90% right now. I'm not sure if I want to cut it off there. If I lose the connection, I might lose the whole file."
Sonic went back to the door and saw egg pawns coming through it. "At least get the warp going, Tails. Pretty soon your connection's going to be cut one way or the other," he said. Tails reached back with his left hand and fished out the warp ring, tossing it to the side and causing it to grow to full size. Roll. Twilight flares and Rarity looked back at the egg pawns a moment later, noticing the robots were moving around the hole towards them. "Tails!" they all urged. Tails moved his hands forward and shut the radar with his left hand, grabbing it with his right hand, saying,
"It's this! Let's go!"
Still holding the handheld in his right hand, he made a dash towards the warp ring, led through it with everyone behind him. Eggpons reached where the ring had been and shrunk and vanished from sight. Meanwhile,
Luna, it is not necessary for you to damage the ride just to stop it. I would have been fine, though it would have been better if there was some cake involved.
Luna complained to see Luna, Blaze, and Silver stood near the entrance to the Bakery Crazy.
Sister, if you had paid attention to the entire announcement, you would have known that ride stimulates what it's like to be baked into a cake. There was never mention of anything but actual cake there,
Luna stated.
Celestia shook her head. I don't see why they wouldn't offer some cake. It seems as though they would have had plenty of it there. It could help attract customers.
As the two princesses began talking, Silver turned to Blaze and asked,
Do you think this is a normal thing for them? Blaze looked back at him and said, Luna seems used to it, but that doesn't necessarily imply anything. Then again, they are sisters. I'm sure they are familiar with their own quirks.
She turned her head to look in the other direction, saying,
Now, let us ask any others. They should...
She saw Sort when the warp ring suddenly appeared a short distance away. Its appearance enough to startle Luna and Celestia out of their talk.
Ah!
Blaze murmured as tails left out of the ring, followed by everyone else. Silver and the princesses walked over to them after Tails had put their ring away. Twilight instantly noticing their mentor.
Princess Celestia,
she said, as the Sun Princess smiled at her. Sonic looked at Luna, noticing the smoke rising out of the huge oven looking right behind her. He grinned. Looks like that ride had been baked bad, huh, Luna? Luna allowed herself a giggle before replying, Indeed, Sonic.
Thankfully, Blaze and Silver were able to locate it just as it was starting up. I have a feeling I would have missed it otherwise.
Silver nodded her.
Happy to help, Luna.
Blaze looked at the others and asked,
So, did you manage to find the map?
Tails opened his radar while looking down at it, said,
Yeah, but it wasn't a separate map, so I had to download a file containing maps of each planet in the park. I just need a second to find the one we need, then we can find out where the chocolate milk scene is.
As he was working, some files of orange and yellow flew above everybody's head. A tail went blowing past them.
Tails looked up and asked, Hey, what's that?
Celestia said,
That looks like a Pegasus pony.
Rainbow lined a trail left by Mystery Pony.
Orange followed by yellow, back to orange,
she muttered. She soon knew what sort of heroes left a trail like that. Cut her hose over her mouth, yelling,
Spitfire! Ma'am!
There was a moment of silence, then the Pegasus came flying back, this time slowing down as it approached the group. As Daz had thought, it was Spitfire? It was Spitfire. Twilight fluttered Rainbow and Applejack, recognizing the mayor in their Wonderbolts flight suit. The gold Pegasus placed her hose on her hips as she looked at the pony who called her.
What do we have here? Well, if it isn't Rainbow Dash.
She grinned as she lowered herself to the ground. While two Pegasi started talking, Sonic looked at Twilight with a raised eyebrow, projecting the camping that was on his mind and his friends' minds.
Twilight picked it up and said, That's Spitfire, Captain of the Wonderbolts. They're the ones Rainbow Dash dreams of being a part of.
Sonic, Silver, Tails, Blaze, Vector, and Espio nodded in understanding.
Why not? Everybody else for the Ponyverse has shown up today. Who's left? Who amongst the named cast members is left to show up and say hi? Circa second season. I think we've been through almost everybody that could have shown up. Well, to be fair. Alright. Well, to be fair, we are missing Flim and Flam.
Yeah. We haven't seen them all arc. You're slipping, Vic. Looking back at the two, Sonic heard Rainbow Dash ask,
So Spitfire, what are you doing here? If you don't mind me asking, that is.
The gold Pegasus replied,
In this Candyland? Hey, if I know, but right now, I'm looking for Soren.
Luna asked, Well, hop it to him.
Spitfire answered, We kinda got separated, Princess Luna. He got a little nutty when he noticed all the candies and cakes and all that, but I tried to keep him under control. Fortunately, I turned my back on him for a second, and when I turned back around, he was gone.
Vector asked, I suppose you don't have any idea where he could be? Spitfire looked down in a moment of mild surprise before saying,
No, he's Soren. He went off looking for pies. She shook her head. He loves his pies.
Yeah, that's why he eats yours all the time.
That wasn't a Twixie joke, so Turksy will allow that one.
While looking down at his radar, Tails spoke,
You know, Miss Spitfire, I may need to help you find him. The gold Pegasus raised an eyebrow. How? Tails replied, well, I have a map here of Sleep Mountain, and that's what this place called. There's a place where pies can be found. It's there somewhere on the map. After a few seconds of searching on the bottom screen of his radar, he said, hey, I found something! Spitfire asked, already? That's an Academy record. Well, should be anyway. What do you got? Tails answered, there's a place called Pie Hills. The map description describes it as having all the known pie flavors, and considering everything else here, I wouldn't be surprised if the pies here are huge. Spitfire placed her right hoof over her eyes as he growled, oh boy, if Sora missed his flight suit from eating too many pies, he's paying for a new one. Tails continued, hey, it's right on the way to the chocolate milk soup. Spitfire took her hoof off her eyes, raising an eyebrow. See what? Sonic looked at her and said, we lost one of our buddies, too. So he mentioned going to the Chocolate Milk Sea. We're hoping he's still there. Spitfire simply replied, oh, well, which way is the Pie Hills? I need to find Soren before his stomach's bigger than his head. Sonic noted Rainbow looking a bit disappointed that Spitfire was leaving. He looked at the gold Pegasus and asked, actually, since we're going the same way, why don't we go with you? If Soren loves pies as much as you say he does, it wouldn't hurt to have a little help getting him under control. Spitfire held a hoof to her chin. It can't be a little hard to separate him from a good pie. Again, this is why he's stuck with you. She looked up at him and said, all right, you got yourself a deal. Where to? Rainbow grinned at Sonic, the blue hedgehog winking back at her. Tails, meanwhile, was checking his radar and making the necessary adjustments in his head. He soon pointed, that way! The Pie Hills and Chocolate Milk Sea are in that direction. Spitfire said, all right, let's go then. She spread her wings and took off, Rainbow danced following behind her. Once Spike was on Twilight's back, everyone else ran after him. Soon, oh man, look at all these pies. I figured they were big, but still, Tails sighed, running his right hand along the highest pie as he walked. Oh boy, yes there, right, Tails. Here I thought we made a whole lot of pies back home. Applejack said as she looked at her satisfied stack of pies. Rainbow Dash could only sigh and shake her head as she could not volunteer or taste any of those pies because she knew she hated them. Clem's mouth moistened with drools. He lifted the large blueberry pie out to the side. That looks delicious, she murmured. She shook her head and chided herself. No, now's not the time for indulgence. Spitfire spoke. Keep an eye out for Soren. All these pies in one place? Gotta be here. A voice up ahead called, hey, look what I found! Spitfire asked, found something already? That was, wait, who said that? Tails glanced off to the side. It sounded like Wave. Sonic immediately took off at that, running ahead and coming to a stop next to a stack of pies. The swallow's voice sounding like it was coming close by. When he saw his right hand in the stack appearing around it, the hedgehog spotted Jet and Wave standing atop a small hill. Wave walking up towards Jet with an extreme gear in her hands. Once he was at the top, Jet asked, that's it? That's all you managed to... He stopped short when he noticed something on the one end of the board, pointing at, what's that? Wave nearly growled, that luckhead kid left his extreme gear in a key lime pie. Ooh, when I get my hands on him. Sonic turned his head around to see others coming towards him. Before he could say anything, he left his left finger to his lips and pointed in Jet and Wave's direction with it. And his head back towards the others, as close as possible. All of them trying to listen. Jet spoke. Well, at least we know where Storm's hiding somewhere. He wouldn't get far without extreme gear. Come on, let's keep going. While trying to wipe the key lime pie off Storm's board, Wave muttered, yeah, sure. So he walked over to Jet, still trying to clean out the extreme gear as he tuned, while he pulled both of their boards out of a considerably less messy pie and set them down, both of them floating just above the ground. What are they doing here? Blaze whispered. Sounds like Soren's not the only one who enjoys a good pie, Sonic whispered. Who are you talking about? Spitfire asked, confused. Babylon Rogues. They're a racing team, Tails answered. Yeah, they're not exactly nice either. Really? Well, maybe I should go say something to them, Spitfire said, spreading her wings. Kane spoke. Excuse me for saying so, Miss Spitfire, but I don't think you should do that. Spitfire looked at her, debating whether or not to listen to the Princess of Love. Silver slowly spoke. Hey, looks like they're leaving. Everyone looked to see Jet and Wave were on extreme gear, both of them flying away a second later. That's it, they're toast, Spitfire said, leaping off the ground with her wings still spread, flapping and flying after the two birds. Hey, I'm coming too, Rainbow called, flying after the captain despite her friend's protests. With no other choice, everyone quickly ran after the Cyan Pegasus and crossed the Pieville zone.